we call him Papa Tom. By then it was known as Wales Mountain Initiative. Or by then it was Wales Mountain Foundation. And then later on changed to Wales Mountain Initiative. Well, it was founded with the idea that we could have an important role to play in helping young people in developing world by leveling the global playing field for education opportunity and justice. Mainly, WMI was started by Tom Wells. Tom is a lawyer by profession. And then he was in one of the African countries, I think that was in Ghana. So he thought, he saw how young people were struggling really about school, like trying to look for funding everywhere and there, but then there was, it was a bit hard. So after, when he went back to the USA, then he started WMI, which is currently known as Wales Mountain Initiative. So the vision was young people like creating the changes that they want to see in their communities and ultimately the world. So as you know that the reason as to why you have decided to join this is not for only your personal benefits, but of course, in future, you would wish or like to empower your community a little bit. So that was the vision that Tom had. He said he would like to, of course, empower some young people that will later on help their community or the world in so many ways. Our approach, as I said earlier on, we are not really going to take long here because we have other commitments, and me personally, I would like to also prepare for tomorrow. But it's good to really pay attention, just be keen enough as I wrap up with this. So WMI's model is unique in 3 ways. Local leadership. WMI scholars lead in the face of dominating challenges and are implementing fresh and creative solutions to the world's most pressing problems. So, and that's why we are here. And that's why WMI was founded, because we want the approach, like leadership. Of course, local leadership where we can be able to, the challenges that our community do face or the world do face. It is one reason that we are supposed to organize ourselves as young leaders so that we can see ways of how we can empower our community. So we have other approaches like global peer-to-peer collaboration through community development grants, technical assistance to support scholar-led initiatives and regular strategy. So I will not read everything, but just be keen enough as you follow. So WMI, we have in most cases, like they have, they do provide grants for their scholars, like graduate scholars. If you have already completed, if you have finished your studies, they will be able to provide for you some grants where you start up, like engaging your community in other small initiatives, like to empower them in so that they can be able to change. So we have other things like the regional, global leadership, the DPCs, where sometimes it's called Dream Big Conference, where sometimes, or where we all as students, like graduate scholars, where scholars all come together to learn, you know, and the main purpose is for network, like networking with each other, like the example, like when we had the recent DPC that was in Nairobi, Dream Big Conference that was in Nairobi. It was last year in August. We had very, very many scholars, about 200 scholars who participated in that Dream Big conference, and students were from different countries, not only in Africa, but in the world. So the other approach is building sectors. We also focus on building local leadership in high need sectors such as health, education, and in environment, so that the WME scholars can bring badly needed resources to underserved regions and communities. So those are the approaches that we have as WMI. So let's look at the impact that WMI has so far created or is still creating to different people like in the world, more especially young people in the world. So we believe rigorously evaluating our programs is crucial to ensuring we are making an impact. We require biannual academic and community service report from all student scholars. So the approach, the impact here is that the approach that we usually do is with our mainly the student scholars that each year or each year you are required at least to send in your report. But we do it on timely basis or on per semester. Like for example, if you are studying, you have just completed your semester, so you are required to at least share in your report, like to share in your report because you are, as you study, you are also expected to participate in community initiatives where you will be able to, you know, share your report at the end of the day, at the end of the semester. And also, it's the same with the graduate scholars. For graduate scholars, they are required to, you know, to share also their like at least participate in annual surveys where they see if we are doing well, or if they have participated in other initiatives, other community initiatives that they would also like to share about and share their progress, like how far they have gone with their community engagements or other initiatives. So they are required. So as you, as a scholar, you will be a student scholar, you will be required to submit in your report. But we shall look into that later on as we proceed with the presentation. So at the moment, we have about 706 scholars. We have about 279 student scholars, and we have 425 graduate scholars. And from about 54 countries, that is including South Sudan. If you are from South Sudan is included. But the 54 countries, like not only in Africa, of course, there are countries in Europe and of course in South America, like in during the DPC, there was the Dream big conference in Nairobi last year. I met some students also from Nepal, from South America, and yeah, from Europe countries as well. So the 50 countries is not only in Africa, but all over the world, I can say. So we have 48, like I did mention that you as a graduate scholar or a student scholar, you are required to at least submit in a report at the end of the day and the hours that you have participated in a community engagement. So, sorry, I will do that later. I will have to edit it. I'll share with you the slides later after the session. So, you are required to actually participate, like at least in a year, you are required to at least use about, or in a term, in a semester, you are required to at least use 100 hours. 100 hours of your time, like in community engagements. So as of 2022, we had student scholars who really participated, and the total hours that they sacrifice like in the community engagements, like the different activities that they've been doing in community was 48,000. So, and that was a great progress. I think we as WMI also benefited from the hours, because we realized in those hours, they didn't just waste their time, but of course they have been empowering their community in so many ways. So, which was really so great for us. Because now, if we don't get at least those feedbacks from a community, from student scholars, then we assume that they are not really doing enough, because the main purpose as to why WMI started, WMI was founded, it was because the main purpose was to empower, to support your community. So by sharing those reports, we assume that the student scholars are really helping their community in different ways. So we have about 80% of the student scholars have leadership positions in community and school groups. Like, for example, it's all about leadership. Also, I'm not a leader. But then when I joined when I joined WMI, then I saw how other students were really participating, how they were, presenting themselves. So that also made me to pick an interest. I said I need to participate in community leadership opportunities, or for example, like in schools, when we have those opportunities, like for like those leadership positions, for example, being a guild president or head of your department, like for example. So when you look at other students like participating in those leadership roles, it will also influence you to really. So we have about 80% of the student scholars who are really holding positions in their community or in schools. So we have also about 80% of the students who are either their first time that they are really joining this university. So because in most cases, like people who are benefiting from this program, like you find that it's either their first time or they are totally stuck. Like they can't proceed anymore with their education, of course, because of challenges that we have, like can be school fees that you are unable to continue with their studies. And of course, so WMI have noticed that from all the scholars that have been supported, that they have been supporting, I think about 80% of the scholars are either their first time, like in their family, like joining a tertiary education or university. So we have about 86 of the graduate scholars who are employed, like the people who have completed. 80% of the scholars are already employed. They are doing different, like they are working, they're either doing their own initiatives, like others have started their own NGOs, or others have are working for other international NGOs, and at the same time also running their own projects or their own initiatives. So we have out of the scholars, out of the graduate scholars, we have at least about 80%, 86% that we are aware that are working, they are employed. So we have about 35% of the graduate scholars who are running. That it's but they can be actually more than that. That we can still get more if we can get the latest update from other graduate scholars. Then we may find that that's the number of those who have started their own initiatives, like people who have started their non-profit or business. For example, there are people who have started, like people who started medicine There are others who have started like medical related courses. There are others who have started their own pharmacies. Like there are others who have started their own clinics. Like they are able to, even hospitals. There are others who are doing that already as business as well. So there are people who started say, for example, computer like technology, there are ICT. There are others who have like cafe, like where so different like others even are selling like gadgets. For example, computers. They have opened computer centers and so on. So we at least out of the scholars that we know, at least 35% have either started their own organizations or they're already running their own businesses and they are doing well. And they are also supporting others. They are also supporting others in school. So we have about 55% of graduate scholars who are supporting education of someone else. So that means we have, like, out of the scholars, the main purpose here is, like we said, that you are being empowered so that you can also empower others. So we have also learned that from our graduate scholars, people who have completed, they are able to also support. They are able to support others. So you are empowered so that you can support. Don't just be, and that's why I am doing this session because I also want you to benefit out of this from what I've benefited from. So don't just be there. After, you need to also empower your community. You need to share in the little knowledge that you have gained from WMI or from your school. You need to really support. So we have like 108 community development grants awarded projects that were actually awarded, the projects that WMI scholars. So what we do as WMI is we do award, like we do give grants to graduate scholars. Like if you have completed your studies already, and so you are interested and willing to do run an initiative in your community, not necessarily like if you have already started an organization, but of course, if you are interested in supporting your community members, and then you will be, so long as your project is really communicating sense, that the project proposal or something that you are intending to do in the community is communicating sense to the team, and then they will be able to give you grants. At least for a seed grant, it's about $1,000. So we have at least at the moment we have awarded about 108 grants, community development grants to WMI scholars from 19 countries. And from the 19 countries, there are people who have also benefited from South Sudan, Uganda, and Kenya, and so on. So we have about 61% of graduate scholars serve in leadership position in volunteer. So there are others who do, about 61 of the graduate scholars serve in leadership positions. So they, like I think mentioned earlier on, that you are empowered not to only not to just go and sit, but of course to also empower others. And how we empower others is to hold on those leadership positions in your community and other civic groups. So you are required to do that as part of your contribution to your community. So we have about 31 WMI fellowships. So 13 WMI fellowships have been created, and including WMI South Sudan Foundation, which I am the current president of the South Sudan South Sudan Mountain Initiative, Wales Mountain Initiative fellowship. So we have other fellowships like in Kenya, for example, other fellowships like students, South Sudanese students who are studying in Kenya. Usually, what they do is they also join the fellowship in Kenya, but still they still remain as WMI South Sudan Fellowship member, but of course they also participate in those other fellowships just to learn, because we are not creating hatred between the fellowships, but of course we want to be learning from each other. So means by having South Sudanese fellowship members in Kenya fellowship does not mean that they have forgotten about their fellowship, but they still remain our members. So we have about 61% of graduate scholars are currently involved in voluntary work. Okay, that one I've already mentioned. And then we have about 35% of student scholars have started their own. Okay, this one I did mention that already. So we have 45 of graduate scholars are doing. Okay, so we have about 45% of graduate scholars who are doing health related, courses, and we have about 15% in business related. So we have 14 in STEAM fields. We have 5% in law. We have 5% in community development. We have 5% in education. So there are questions like people have been asking me several questions, trying to know if WMI only sponsors students who are enrolling for health-related courses. But just to clarify that WMI does not only support medical students, but also support students who are doing other different courses, like, for example, business-related courses, law development, community development related courses, education. So it's very important to take note of that. So we have every year we award at least 60 to 80 scholarships, every year. So we award at least from 60 to 80 scholarships every year. Like, for example, last year was not 82, but I think it was 60. It was 60. Bira, how many scholarships if you are still with us? Bira, can you confirm that?
60, 60, 60, slightly 60.
60, yeah? So yeah, it was 60.
Yeah.
So so like yeah, so it happens every year. Like in 2020 were 80 and 2 were from South Sudan. That was me and Esther. So we have maximum scholarships. People have been asking me, thinking, okay, so now if I'm going to study like on a scholarship, because there's already a scholarship, so do I need to go to an expensive school? Do I need to go and study in the US? Do I need to go and study in Europe? So just to let you know that WMI give at least a maximum of $3,000 every year to its scholars. So, for example, if you are a scholar who is willing to go and study in the US and you are in Africa, for example, in South Sudan right now, and you have applied, you have been given you have been admitted in one of the universities in the US. So because universities in the US are very expensive, so you find that the money that WMI gives, like to students, like to its scholars every year, is about 3,000. So 3,000, that is maximum. So if you have, for example, 2 semesters in a year, means the 3,000 can be divided into 2. Like, for example, in your first semester, you will receive 1,500, and then in the second semester, you will receive another 1,500. That is the maximum. So, but in most cases, like sometimes when they look at those expensive universities, if you're going to university, which is very expensive at times, and they look at your background, because you are also required for those who are familiar with the form, the application form, because they also want to know your background, your family background. Do you have earnings? Like, do you have sources where you earn from? Or are your parents able to help you, or are your guidance like any other well-wishers, people who are able to help you? Do you have such category of people in your community or not? So they look at your background as well before you are being awarded like the scholarship. So I kindly want to emphasize on this particular point that you need to be wise on choosing the university that you are willing to enroll in. Because if you choose a university which is very expensive and they look at your background that you are not able to contribute, because in the scholarship, you are not actually, you are also expected to contribute, not only not to rely entirely on the money or the funds from a WMI, but you are also expected to contribute, some money. Like for example, you are expected to contribute even buy your scholastic materials, or pay for other costs. So you need to be wise that on making decision on which university, because if you choose a very expensive like university that you cannot be able to to support yourself. Because I look at like some universities, like for example in Uganda we have Victoria University. So Victoria University is quite expensive, that if you are being awarded or given money of that kind, like for example $1,500, that cannot really help you to to meet other costs. So you need to be wise enough on choosing on your university. So we have at least for last year, like Bida said, we had about 60 students. I think 60 students who were selected. So in 2022, we had about 82 students who were like student scholars who were selected. In 2021, we had 80. In 2020, we had 62. And then in 2019, we had 75. So in 2018, we had 57 people, student scholars who were selected. Don't worry, I'll share with you the slides later on. I just want us to wrap up. Being a student scholar or graduate scholar. So these are some of the things that you're expected to do. If you're a student scholar, you're expected to stay in school studying. And then someone will ask that, how about if I'm doing online program? Am I eligible to apply? So for those who are doing online, like for example, if you're also doing online studies, of course, you have chances, like you can as well join, you can, so long as your application is legit, like you are 100%, if you're 100%, you're okay to go with, like, for example, eligible for the scholarship. Of course, even if you're doing online program, you'll be selected. But just know in your mind that you'll also be expected to submit your reports at the end of the semester or at the end of the term. So not only that, students who are enrolled in full-time, I have, like for example, during Corona, most students were studying online. So there were they were also being sponsored. They were being sponsored by WMI as well. So someone can ask, but here what we are saying is stay in school studying is because sometimes people when they are doing like online program, they take it for granted and they want to be doing things on their at their own time and what. So for example, you even if you are doing online program, still your lecturer will be able to share with you the timetable where you're supposed to be following. For example, if you're doing it at this time, you're supposed to join the session and study. Let your teachers be aware, let your lecturers actually be aware of who you are and let them get to know you. And just in case you are, for other follow-ups, like for example, they may want to know if there's a student called maybe Jackson or Mawa, or for example, in Juba University or something. So it is good to always be familiar, get to know your teachers, let them also introduce yourself to them, let them know you very well. So you are expected to also submit like your semester or termly grades that is every semester. And this you need to bear in mind that you need to if you have not shared your semester or termly grades at the end, and then you will not be awarded another scholarship funds until when you share your marks. So that means that you need to communicate earlier on, and that's why I've been emphasizing, saying that you need to get to familiar, like get to know your lecturers, tell them that, I am a WMI student scholar, and our system, we are required to share our grades before another term or another semester begins. So you are expected to actually do that at the end of every semester before you are being awarded or before you receive your next installment or funds or school fees. So eligible for Global Advisory Board, we have other leadership roles like other initiatives within the WMI. So we have other initiatives that you can participate in, like for example, Global Advisory Board. So you are expected to also participate in that. So attend Dream Big Conference, a conference where you're expected to also attend this conference where different students from different countries who are willing to participate in. It's not a must, but it depends, because in the Dream Big Conference, you're also expected to contribute some money, say for your trip. WMI can offer you some little money so that you can also meet other costs like the transport cost and what, but you are required also to contribute, like for example your transport affairs or other personal things that you may need, because WMI will not provide for you. But it is really good. It's a good program where you will get to know other students, other people from different countries. You'll get to learn. So mainly for networking purposes, it's really, really very important. So you need to know that after every year, there's a program called Dream Big Conference where all graduate scholars and student scholars are required to, are asked to come together and, learn from each other. So we have volunteer project reports, like for example, you'll be asked to, of course, that one already, I think, yeah, you will be asked to submit a report at the end of the semester. So as you are studying, just bear that in mind, that as you are studying, you need to also participate in, I know some may ask that as I'm also studying, when do I get time to participate in community initiatives? But for example, if you're South Sudanese and you're studying in Kenya, I know it will be very difficult for you to travel to South Sudan to implement something there or to participate in other community engagements and all. So, but just know that even if you're studying in Kenya and you're not a Kenyan, you need to get to know with befriend other students from there, get to know, come up with some ideas and see how you'll be able to engage the community around there in other different activities. Or because these days we have technology and that can even enable you to run other initiatives back home. So at times you'll have another focal person where you'll able to to ask the person to support you or maybe to implement something back home. So it is still possible. So and mind you, you need to take note of everything that you do. You need to take every note of every initiative or everything that you do. You just need to take, because at the end of the day, at the end of the semester, you'll be required to share your report, and it's very, very key because it's one way that they get to know that you are capable of doing something in your community. So same thing, membership in your country's fellowship. So we have, like, for example, in our South Sudan, WMI South Sudan fellowship, we have, at least last year, we had about 4 or 5 students who were being selected from South Sudan. That's including BIDA. But I see in our fellowship, I can say only about 2 people who are active enough. So just know that if you have been selected as a WMI student scholar, so you are supposed to also be a fellowship, a member of your fellowship. You need to participate in the fellowship because we have those fellowships of different WhatsApp groups and what. So you're expected to also contribute. You're expected to introduce yourself. You're expected to share, to come up with ideas that can that all other fellowship members can also participate in. And so you're expected to really do that, and by that you will be known as a fellowship member of a specific country. So we have graduate scholars are people who have already completed. If you have completed your studies already, so you will be called not as student scholar anymore, but you'll be called as a graduate scholar, of course. So graduate scholars are people who have already completed their studies and they are working or they have started their own other initiatives. But of course, even if you're not working, but you'll still be called as a graduate scholar. So eligible for community development grants. So that's where now, if you have completed already, I can say that I have completed and recently I've been awarded a community development grants for my refugee-led organization that I founded in Uganda. So I've been awarded the community development grants. And then later on, so if you are able to run it very well, like the community development grants, if you're able to do it well, of course, you'll be able to be given also another grants called growth. It's called growth grants. So growth grants comes next after development, after the community development seed grants. So you'll be given growth grants, but it depends. So what will at least make you qualify for the growth grants is if you are able to, if you have been awarded the seed grant, the community development seed grants, and you are able to implement, your report is 100% perfect, and there you'll be able to be considered for the growth grants. But you are able to submit other, the reporting requirements. That is, like, for example, receipts of what you have purchased or photos of the projects that you have been doing in your community. So you'll be asked to share in those things before you are being considered for the growth grants. So the growth grants starts from $1,000 to $5,000. So, but for the community development seed grants, it is only that the maximum is $1,000. So eligible for Global Advisory Board. So being a graduate scholar, you'll still be eligible for the Global Advisory Board. You'll be eligible for regional leadership. So for example, we have our regional coordinator. She's based in Kenya. She's our regional coordinator for East Africa. So she's called Joyce. So she's doing a great job. So when you are able to finish with your studies, then you will be eligible to also participate in such leadership roles. So also attend the DPC, which I did mention earlier on, and then membership in your country's fellowship. Even if you are a graduate scholar, you will still be expected to participate in your you'll be expected to participate in your fellowship. So now the application. That's where now you need to really pay keen attention. The application process, our ideal candidate. So a student, male or female from country in the developing world who successfully completed a secondary education with good to excellent grades. So application process, like being eligible for this scholarship program. One is if you have really completed your studies, your secondary education, and have good grades. And if you are 35 years and or under, on March 1st, 2024. Sorry, I'll correct that later on or now. Yeah, so now if you are 35, if you'll be making 35 years, on March 1st, 2024, you are still eligible to apply for this opportunity. But in most cases, like people who are under 35, 35 years old. So, so if you are 36 years, if you're 38 years, sorry, but still we can share with you. Bida is always there for you. You just reach out to him. He'll be able to share with you other opportunities. So we'll be studying in his or her country or another country in the developing world. So if you are, for example, a South Sudanese, you're expected to study in your country of origin, or else you can make a choice in another country in the developing world. So in the developing world, for example, I can't. So let me continue in the developing world. It studies within your home nation or neighboring developing nation. So means you are actually expected to study in affordable like university, not only developing world, because some people, when we say that the developing world, they may start thinking of studying in the USA, in the UK or what, but you are either expected to study in your home country, and the reason is because you'll be able to meet other costs for your studies program. Because if you're now asked to go and study in the UK, and you know very well that universities in the UK are very, very expensive that most of us cannot afford. So if you are, for example, going to study there, you cannot afford to meet other costs. And the WMI will not be able to pay for all your expenses. Like for example, traveling all the way from South Sudan to UK, paying for visas, all those things. So you are asked, at least if you are in South Sudan, if you're South Sudanese, at least when you are studying in Kenya or Uganda, at least there you'll be able to meet some of your studies costs. So, but don't always make that mistake of saying that I want to go and study in the UK, and when you are applying for this opportunity. So I would really advise that you make a good choice of the university that you're willing to enroll in. Like, for example, you can either look for university in Uganda, or if you already have admission form for any university in Uganda or Kenya or any other neighboring country, so that you can be able to meet other costs. So is pursuing his or her first bachelor's degree or diploma. So, like, for example, it is very hard, like, for students who have completed senior 4 in Uganda. So they always think of, am I eligible to apply? I know of a student who started with the diploma. He only completed senior. He only completed. He completed senior 6 years, but he was told to start. He wanted to enroll for nursing in one of the universities in Uganda, but so he was told to start with a certificate program. So he started, of course, with a certificate program leading to diploma. So he was awarded the scholarship, like he started from certificate up to diploma. So if you already have a degree, means you are not eligible for this opportunity. But if it's your first time, like, for example, enrolling for a diploma course, yes, of course, you'll be eligible to, apply for it. So, for example, because there are things like, for example, there are conditions that may force you to start with a diploma instead of a degree program. So, for example, if, like, I want to enroll for a medical course, and maybe my performance somehow was not really good enough, so the university may ask me to first start with a diploma program. So sometimes there are conditions that may force you to. So if it is your first time that you're starting with a diploma program, then you are eligible to apply. But if you already have a degree, then you are not eligible to apply for a WMI scholarship program. So still will be enrolled in program of study that will benefit the community and or contribute to the continued growth and advancement of his or her home country. So, like, that one, I don't want to, because I already told you that you are being empowered so that you can also empower others. Even if you are doing a business course, but just know that if you're starting up a business, like, for example, if you are doing a business course and in your community you find that people are really struggling with like buying scholastic materials, getting scholastic materials for themselves, or so many other things. So sometimes you can start up a business with the knowledge that you have for business. You can start up a business in your community simply to support your community members by selling for them the materials in a cheap or affordable price. So we have plans to live and work in his or her own country after graduation, dedication to home community through service. So you are expected to live after your studies. You're expected to actually to continue living in your country, or to support your community members, basically that, to support your community members, to support your community or your country at large. So so we have has demonstrated his or her commitment to giving back and has volunteered to so you are expected to show some commitment, like what we are doing right now is we are trying to show our commitment, like trying to empower others through this program, like because it's one way that some people may get familiar, because I've been receiving so many text messages from people, even from Nigeria. I've been receiving also some text messages from people in Nigeria, from people in Uganda, even in Kenya, like trying to ask, like, what exactly is WMI all about? So you are empowered to also empower others. So may have some other funds available for his or her education. I already did mention that earlier on, that you don't need to only rely entirely. And that's one of the criteria that they consider. If you are entirely going to rely on the WMI scholarship, then you need to be keen enough that you need to go to a university that you can afford. Otherwise, you'll not be selected for this program. Applications must be received by March of each year to be considered for the following academic year. So for people who are applying this year, you'll start your program, your program actually next year. And that is the academic, from 2025. So for those who are applying this year, you'll be considered for actually next year program. So just bear that in mind, that some people may think that if I've applied this year, will I continue with my studies in this specific year? No. So you'll be selected to study to start your program next year, not this year. Tips for becoming competitive applicant. The following are suggestions to enhance your applications. So record all your service activities, dates, activities, time spent, and photographs. So those are some of the things that will be required to do, by the way. If you have all those other reports, previous reports for the activities that you have been doing in your community, the time that you have spent while doing the program, or the photographs of the session or the activity that you have been engaged in, you are expected to also share that. But be careful enough, because some people, they share photos from different other activities. Like sometimes you may find someone was not even involved, or the person didn't participate in that particular activity, but you will find that the person keeps like maybe may share the photos with people, thinking that they may not know, but just be careful that you need to share photos of activities that you have participated in. Otherwise, it will be considered as a fraud or something like that. So you just need to be careful of that. So have someone proofread your essays before submitting them. I think earlier on, we asked people to submit their essays to us so that we can be able to review them and share. But all in all, is that what we have been receiving from the students is asking, can I speak to you? Can I talk to you? I have this other question that I'm stuck. I can't know, what do I need to do? But in actual sense, like, we want, what is required from you is to first finish with the application form, and then you share it with any one of us, like Leju, Dr. Leju, we have Bida, and me myself. I can share your essays with us so that we can able to review and give you more tips where necessary. So collect the documents earlier enough. So we are actually, today is 18th, so we are left with a few days. So you're expected to actually compile. You need to collect all those necessary documents. For example, your transcript, your results, of course. You need to have them. You need to have your ID. If you have passport as well. So all those necessary documents, you're supposed to. I know there are those who have completed like last year, and they are still struggling, or they don't have their results with them, and they don't have a national ID or something. So Another document that you are required to collect is, or to get, is a recommendation letter, like 2. So you shouldn't be getting, you should not actually get a recommendation letter from your relative. Or someone who knows you very well. You need to get at least a recommendation letter from your supervisor, a leader in your community, a teacher, and that's why in your community you need to get you need to introduce yourself. Just be familiar, like let the leaders in your community get to know you, so that they can be able to give you a good recommendation when you're applying for such an opportunity. Or your teacher as well can give you a good recommendation if you have been really behaving well. So the following are required elements for an application to be considered. You need to clear personal photo. So you need to, and those are some of the requirements that you need to start actually getting them if you still don't have. So get a clear personal photo, essay. Topic is stated on application form. All essays are put through multi-step, fraud review process. Like sometimes people do copy and paste. Sometimes you look at my story and you want to copy and paste. You look at Dr. Leju's story, you look at Esther's story, so you feel I need to just copy and paste and like that. So you will be caught. So you need to come up with your own story. You need to come up with your own, something of your own, not copying from other sources. So, for example, if you have a graduate scholar, like someone who is trying to support you to give you mentorship, like say regarding this, you need to be careful that the person should not really focus only on what he previously did already, but you need to come up with your own actually. And that's why you're expected to, before you share your essay with us, you are expected to come up with your own story, build up a story so that we can able to support you. Personal essay statement, that's same thing. 2 recommendation letters, official transcript of grades from secondary school, school grading key to interpret secondary school grades. So yeah, official transcript of grades from tertiary studies, but let's focus mainly on your results from your previous school, or senior 4 or senior 6 in Uganda. Official grading key to interpret tertiary grades. Like for example, if your result was maybe in a different language that people may not understand, and so you need to make it easier for people to understand, to interpret. Or sometimes like those challenges do happen, that someone studied in Khartoum and the results are all in Arabic, so you may also need to, interpret, to interpret it for us to make it easy. Official results from your national exams. So South Sudan, you need to provide that result. If you have completed like in any of the the countries within East Africa or anywhere, you are expected to also provide the national certificate. So official grading key to interpret scores, that one. A national ID card, it's a must that you need to really have the national ID or a passport in order for you to be considered. How to apply? Applying online, you'll be redirected to a portal where you'll be asked to create a free account, username and password. So you'll be asked to do that, fill out information and upload documents. So you'll be asked to upload your documents later on. We strongly suggest that you apply online, as it will provide you with the opportunity to save your work and return multiple times You'll also guarantee that your application, once submitted online, will be received and reviewed. So for now, as we are running out of time, I think I need to just be brief on this, that we may not be able to now.
No, we still have like 42 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, so basically, you will be asked. We need those applications. I don't know, Bida. Can you tell me if we shall still be able to review some applications or?
SS, you mean?
Yeah. The essays. Sorry.
No. We won't be able to review.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
is just like to check in with people who are already applying, because it's really late to start a
Yeah.
new application, except the person is very committed.
Yeah, sure. Because even until yesterday and today in the morning, I've been receiving still text messages like from people asking me if I can be able to support them and review their essays or not. But I have been advising them to really join us in this meeting so that they can be able to learn other few things as they prepare to submit their application. So I hope they are all here, because I think after this, Bida may also not be willing to help you so much. And me, I will also not be able to, because you are expected actually to ask anything, any question, any burning question, any anything that you feel you are really, without it, you cannot proceed with the application process. So you are able, this is the right time that you need to take note of it and share with us, or you can ask, raise those concerns so that we can be able to help you. So you will need to print 2023 application form below. I will share with you down there. You'll need to print the 2023 application for 2023 or 2020? 2024 available. Sorry. So I think it was uploaded in already in 2023, last year actually. So you are expected to print it out and have, you can feel it there, and yeah. So applications must be received by March. So please, we need to really take note of this, that any application that will arrive after March 1st, 2024 will not be considered. Your application will not be considered. And you know that March 1st, 2024 stops at exactly 11:59 p.m. Yes. So yeah, that is on 29th or 29th, yeah, or 28th. Yeah. So you need to bear in mind, yeah, 29th. 29th by 29th, applications that arrive after this will, okay, on 1st March, so means you are expected to actually submit in your application before midnight the following day, So because we already consider it as the following day, like that would be, some people may need to wait and think that even if I submit my application on 2nd around 3 a.m., it will still be considered. No, it will not be considered. So you need to really bear in mind that on 1st March, by around 11:59, you are expected to actually submit your application. So if you delay and submit it at around midnight the following day, then your application will not be considered. So those are some of the things that I really want you to pay keen attention on. Only send completed application, and sometimes you need to get those letters, the recommendation letters from your leadership structure or from your supervisor, your teacher. So you need to get those if you don't have. We highly encourage applicants to apply online to ensure the delivery of their completed application. So do not email us completed application with applications with marked attachments. We don't accept applications sent via email. So anyway, just to let you know that everything will be done online. So you're expected to upload all those documents online. So you'll not be asked to, to send it to either me or to Dr. Leju or to Bida. No, you'll have that link where you'll be expected to apply online, and all documents has to be uploaded online. So scholarship application mailing address is here. We wish everyone luck in preparing their applications. We encourage all applicants to remember that acceptance in WMI scholarship program requires dedicated interest in community service, improving your nation and working within your country after graduation. So it is one key point that you need to take note of, that as you are preparing your application, you need to really be mindful of your community, because applying to this program goes hand in hand with the community initiatives. So programs. So you need to be careful as you're applying. You need to apply as a person who is maybe after graduation willing to support, to empower his or her community. So application process timeline, you are all aware of this. Application opens every year on December 1st. Of course, March 1st, that is the deadline. And then review of applications. Applications will be reviewed actually within this period from April to July. And then August 1st, announcement of the scholarship recipients. Like people who have been selected will be announced on August 1st. So where you need to get ready and jubilate with your family members, celebrate, and yeah. Attention applicants, let me tell you, repeat this, that application opened actually on December 1st, and it will end, of course, on 1st March. Submitting your scholarship application to WMI is free of charge. Here, we are not charging anyone for this session, either to pay me for this or to pay Bida that because he has been doing this. And I think we have also been helping others reviewing some essays free of charge. You have not asked someone to pay. So just because we want you to also benefit from this program, and we expect you to do the same in future, yeah? So, so there are next steps here for you that you need to really now get familiar, like with the website, gather all the requirements in place, starting now. Actually, after this session, you need to make sure, you need to ensure that you have all those required documents, launch your application. If I were you, I think after this session, I can start right away or from tomorrow, yeah. Next, information was always submitting applications towards the end of the deadline, like towards it is not good. It's not really advisable. I wouldn't really advise you to wait until 1st March and you begin to So you need to submit at least 2 days or a day before, so that when there's any program, thing, we can be able to help you. So Bida, I think I am done. So if there are questions, please. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yep. Thank you so much, Lee, for the presentation. It's been very detailed and insightful. Now, we would like to open the floor to the audience. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. Make a question. I did some sort of question next already. I don't know if you question relation to objects. When you can speak.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Actually, I have like 2 questions. The university,
Yes.
which has like yeah, so they consider, do they consider only 2 semesters in the academic year, or they can consider the 3 semesters? That's my first question. And then secondly is because I've gone through the form, and then I've seen there's a part where they ask you whether you know any scholar or any graduate scholar, or are you attached to any organization. So I don't know, is it okay to like to say that you know someone, or about being attached to an organization? Which kind of organization? I don't understand. Like, is it the fellowship, like Excellence Foundation, or any other organization, or what? I don't know. I don't understand that part very well. Thank you.
Bida,
First question.
Bida, can you be able to answer that? Yes.
I'm saying, did you pick his first question? I only picked the second one, but I picked the first one.
I've picked his question. He asked about 2 questions. One is whether the program only caters for people who have enrolled in schools that has 3 or 2 semesters. And then also, if it is good to mention someone that you know, a scholar that you know. So, and then another thing,
Okay.
attached to another organization, or is it good to, which kind of organization are they meaning? So I think I picked about 3. So one, I can't remember his name. What is his name? The person who
Joseph Henry.
Okay, Joseph Henry.
Joseph Henry.
You are Joseph Henry, right? So your question is, first to start with, you asked if students are only considered for a program, a school program, like which has 2 or 3 semesters, like basically trying to know if your school has they call it 3 semesters, right? In a year, will you be eligible for that? So yes, you're actually eligible. I know of students who studying on 3 semester program, and they are eligible. Only that you need to take note of, like I did mention earlier on, that you need to take note of which school, because if your school is very expensive, and if, for example, because if you're already if you're doing a three semester program, for example, you have 3 semesters in a year, so there's possibility that your money, uh, tuition may be too high, plus other costs, of course. So you need to also bear that in mind, that even if you're studying in a school which has a 3 semester program, or 3 semesters in a year, you need to take note that at least the school has to be affordable, where WMI can afford to sponsor you in, and also bear in mind that at least if you have other sources where you can be able to meet your other costs from, if you are so you just basically need to take note of that. One is look at the tuition structure. Two is to see if you have other sources that you will be able to, meet other some of your costs, not basically relying on the WMI funds. So you asked if it is good to let people know if you know NSQual. Yes, it is good. And that's why we are doing this. We are doing this so that you get to know us. And it's one way that it communicates that we as scholars are helping other people. We are not really being greedy to others who are willing to, study to join. So we are trying to also empower people to support others who are willing to join. So the organizations that they are asking if you're attached to any other organization is, it can be a community-based organization. It can be your own organization. It can be any other international organization where you are doing a voluntary work. Sometimes, because not everyone is just doing, because sometimes you will be able to do something, maybe because like after senior 6, or for example, after senior 4, for those who have completed in South Sudan, like you may find yourself doing voluntary work with any other international organization, or any other where you are also earning something. So basically, they just want to know if you are attached. You have been doing some community initiatives. Were you attached to that organization, that international organization, or that community-based organization, or your own initiative? So don't just think of maybe any organization and say that I've been working with it, because sometimes now, if they get just be honest. Be honest. If you have never been attached to any organization, you have been doing your voluntary work on your own, like for example, doing your community engagements on your own, or maybe with groups and what, you just need to mention that. Don't rush and say that, yes, I've been working with USAID, I've been working with, I've been doing voluntary work with, CARE International. No, just need to be honest. So that is that. If we have another question, I see someone, Margaret Joan, hand is up. So Bida, hope you're. So Joseph. Joseph, are you still with us? Joseph, let me confirm that you're still with us. Oh, Joseph Henry, yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. But are you contented with the answers that I've provided for you? Ah, okay. Bida.
Okay, we can give it over to
Margaret. I see. I see jealous. I see some people there. About a bidder, you can please allow them.
Margaret.
Uh, so I see Margaret Joan, your hand is up.
Yes.
So you have a question?
Yeah. Are you for hearing me?
Yes?
Yeah, my question goes like this. I've actually asked the other one in the chat and he's answered. What I want to inquire is if you apply maybe for this opportunity this year and you did not go through, maybe you are not selected, are you also again allowed to reapply again or you apply only once?
Okay. Is that the only question?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Okay. One thing,
Yeah.
it's a maybe Bida. Bida, can I say something? Margaret Joan has just asked a very good question. You know, we tend to really give up so fast. You find that someone has applied, like, and then the person was not in any way considered, like, for the opportunity. You may find that someone withdraws. But I want to advise you that we need to just be consistent. We need to keep failing, fail and apply, fail and apply, fail and apply. So when I fail this time around, if I fail this time around, so I will have to ask which part, the entire really, and that's why you need the help of the graduate scholars or the student scholars who are being selected for this program. So you need to reach out to them and ask them. You share with them your essays and see if they can be able to identify the areas where you didn't maybe highlight well, or you didn't state something well. Because at times the essays makes the selection committee to either consider you for the opportunity or not. So you need to fail and apply. So you can apply as many times as you can, as long as you meet the like I said, the criteria. Like, say for example, if you are 35 years and below, you're under 35 years, you'll still be eligible for the program. Even if you apply 1,000 times, you are still okay. to continue applying. So that is that basically. So it is for all that we need to really, yeah. So I see there are people online. I see Bida.
Yes, Janice, please.
People who have raised up their hands, so maybe you give them opportunity to ask their question.
Hello, Lee and Bida. Good evening. I don't know whether you are able to hear me.
Yeah, we are able to hear you very well, loud and clear.
Yeah. So I came late. I was engaged somewhere. I joined the meeting later, but I'm grateful that for the initiative you guys are enrolling around, and I really do appreciate. And all the information is actually helpful, and I am positively. I'm just excited that we're having this kind of initiative coming towards the youth of these days. So it is really very very grateful. I have only just few concerns I need to ask. I don't know whether it is correct. I just came to here. I have only one concern I need to put across. One is about the essay writing. It's about a previous project that someone might have enrolled in. I think I asked a question. Maybe it was the wrong question. I think Bidat tried to answer me. Now I just want to find out one. There's a section where they are writing. You need to come up with a project you have ever enrolled in, and I think there's some receipts where you need to come up with the amount of that is the project expenses. So I was inquiring, is it necessary that you specify a project example, like you come up with the GBV or psychosocial support that you have been enrolling within the community, and then you come up with the expenditures like the refreshments and then the whole hire, something like that. So is it necessary? This is just what I want to ask about the project and the essays concerning this.
Okay. Thank you so much for your question. Bida?
Yes, please.
Are you willing to give him an answer?
Yeah. So pretty much the essay requires you to not about a past project, but it's about if you had the chance to implement a community project, what would it be? And it should be something that is related to what you study. Let's say you are applying to study medicine. What kind of community project would you like to do? It should be based on the needs of the community that you live in. Let's say you live in Juba. So what are some of the needs of people that you see in your neighborhood that if you had the resources, you would be willing to address? So that is what it means. And then you have to do an expenses of up to $1,000. So it does not mean that you are going to be given the money, but you just write in the form of an essay, and then you break down how you would want to spend that $1,000. How much would go to human resource? How much would go to the innovation? And you should write all these in about 1,000 words or less. So that is the meaning of writing a community project.
Yeah.
So it should be an essay. Don't write it in the form of a proposal. Yeah. It should flow like a normal essay. Don't write it like a project proposal. Right. Make sure that it's a normal essay. Don't write a budget in the form of a table or something of that sort. The budget should be in the form of a paragraph. And yeah, it should just be an essay, not a project proposal. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to add something, Lee.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Bida, for that elaborate answer. It's very important. Like you as an applicant who is applying for this, you will not be asked to present those receipts and what. Even if you have been selected as a student scholar, you'll still not be asked to share the receipts for the purchases that you made during the implementation of the activity. You will only be asked to share, like Bida says, like a narrative report about what you have been engaged in or what you have been implementing or doing in your community. So you'll not be asked to, unless if you are now, if you have been awarded, like it happens with the graduate scholars where you have been awarded some grants by the WMI, and then you'll be asked to, of course, share those receipts and photos and what. But as a student scholar, you'll only be asked to share a narrative report and, of course, photos of the activities that you have been engaging you have been doing in your community. And also, like you as an applicant applying for this program, you will not also be asked to share those receipts, but you will be asked to share. So, for example, if you have been attached doing some community initiatives with another international organization, so you'll be asked to share some, if you have those photos and maybe what have you really been doing, just a narrative. And then, of course, you'll be asked as a student scholar, what are you intending to do? What is the community issue that you're trying to work on in future, that when you get done with your studies, what are you intending to do later on? So, for example, if you're a student who's looking at doing a public health program in your community, you look at, for example, there's a place called Monvolo in Western Equatorial part of South Sudan. So where you find that there are cases of blindness, where sometimes, how do you go about that? So you write a project, proposal, like basically focusing or looking at that. If you are someone like doing IT, your major aim is at least to do something related like IT, ICT in your community, how to empower your community in ICT programs in your community. So you look at that, how many, like in my community, how many people are familiar with, say, computer? Do they know how to operate it? And if they are to do that, to run like a computer related, those secretarial services, how is it affordable for the community that they will manage to go to those people and maybe so just something close to this. For example, you may come up with looking at my community. I know that things to do like ICT related is very expensive, that few people can only afford to do that. So I plan to go about this. So something related to this, even if just you need to have that in mind, that that thing that you are the community issue, something that you are intending to get a solution. It can't be a lasting solution, but at least something that can at least bring about change in your community. So that is something to take note of. So thank you, otherwise, Jales, for the question. If we have, I see Jacob Joseph, your hand is up. So if you, yes, Jacob Joseph. Jacob Joseph, Henry, do you still have another question? I see your hand is still up. And I also see Case Thomas.
Yes.
This is Case Thomas.
Yeah, this is me. Good evening,
Okay, can you?
everyone.
Good evening.
Hey, I just want to say like a very
Oh,
big word of thanks
Mm.
to Lee
Yes.
Vida for the wonderful presentation. I basically prepared like 2 questions to ask, but I think one has been cleared. So I just want to know about the use of the photo, like the personal photo. Is it a photo of someone in a community activity or just a normal picture of someone?
The activity photos or your photo, as it has been stated that you need to share your photo, a clear photo.
Yes.
Activity photos. Cause
There's a which says like a clear personal photo, a personal
Oh,
photo. But
yeah.
what I am meaning is it a photo of someone taken in a community activity or just a normal photo taken anywhere, or maybe in a workplace?
Yeah, it's a very good question. A personal, clear photo, like it is your own photo of your own. It can be a passport size photo that shows your face very well, like it shows your face, like so that you can easily be identified as Case Thomas. So bear in mind that it's not community related or activity photos, but it's your personal photo. Can be your whatever passport size photo, a photo that can show your face very well. As in most cases, like they ask those photos in university when you're applying, they may ask you to give a passport photo or like that, just for identity, but not for anything, and it's not also yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Otherwise, thank you so much for the question.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I hope it's clear now.
It's clear, yes.
Yeah, so also there's another part later they will ask you to actually upload photos of your volunteer work. So that is where you can now upload photos of yourself at work. I think that part is there in the application. You might have seen it, right? If you have proceeded with the
Yes.
application. Have you seen that part also, Case?
I've seen it, yes. That's why I'm asking.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Yeah. So the other one, you only put the passport size photo, and then the other one upload where you start doing work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for the question. Okay, great. Now,
Joseph Henry, the hand is still up. Ja, Jacob Joseph, Rufusa
Yes.
Mark, Jacob Joseph.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the chance. My name is Jacob Joseph. I just want to say thank you so much for the love you guys have for us. Those of us who are struggling to reach somewhere in education, we really thank you so much. I just have a concern. If I'm not mistaken, I hear you saying you may not be in position to review personal and the essay questions again. And some of us remember sometimes back, the three of you, Victor, Bida, and Lejo, it was mentioned clear that each of you is going to supervise 5 people in total of 15. And I happen to be one of them, and my supervisor was Lejo. Some days ago, I sent my documents to him, both personal statement and essay questions to him. He has worked on it and gave me the feedback of which I worked on it. And when I sent back to him some 3 days ago, he was telling me he's unable to review my documents again because there are people he's preparing for interviews. And he was told me to approach one of you to help me out. That's the concern I'd wanted to also arrest you guys so that also you can know. But thank you.
Okay, yeah, I can say I've confirmed that from Leju, and Leju, yeah, he told me yes. You should ask one of us, either me or Bida, to support you. So after the session, we shall have a discussion with Bida to see if I can be able to help or he can help you, just to review it once again. So don't worry,
Okay.
after the session, just remind either me or Bida that we shall be able to support if we can.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Welcome. Then Rufusa. Is that Mark? So now, Jacob Joseph, I think you can put your hand down, or you can lower your hand. Those are the terms that those of Bida use. Yes, thank you. Yes, Mark. Ready. I think Joseph, yeah, Joseph, thank you. Mark, are you ready?
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Mark. Mark, can you unmute? Or Dennis, if you are ready. Dennis. I see. Oh, no, Dennis. I think the only person that we are remaining is on the Mark.
Oh, maana jana nitapima halal.
Mark.
Okay.
Mark's hand is, but I think Mark is not with us. Bida, can you confirm that for us? Is Mark still with us? So that we can end this session if he's not with us, because I see his hand is still up. And he's the only person who is having, I think, a question. Bida.
Oh, ana పేరు గల్ట అయిగేనా sana jela ta kede fi bena. Oh. Kala sana kira. Nggak bisa betul.